think of about leisures, vacations, hobbies, and interests.
Okay, so great little list there, like we said before. You know, these lists usually come in 3s and 5s. Good opportunity to show the examiner your vocabulary. But we use 2 prepositions. Yeah, make me think of about. So we just use one of them. Make me think of leisure, holiday, whatever the list was. Okay, we don't need of and about.
Of one individual to ensure that they have work and life balance. Because it's really straining if one just go work and repeat as they says.
That last word I didn't really get, and I think something cut out in the middle of the recording, or you moved away from the microphone. So it's a little bit unclear.
Because it's really straining if one just go work.
Okay, if one goes, yeah, third person singular, and I guess it would be really straining. I don't know if that's the right word. It would be really boring. It would be really, yeah, really boring is probably the better word there. If one just goes, or one focuses just on work.
And repeat as they says. It's just training for mental health and it's not good for the body and mind. So personally,
okay, it's just good for mental happiness. I don't understand that. Or maybe monetary happiness. I'm not so sure. Let's listen again.
And it's not good for the body and as they says. It's just training for mental health and it's not good for the body and mind.
Okay, so you did say mental happiness. I don't know if that would be the right phrase. I'd probably go for, people usually work. Why did they work? Not for mental happiness. Usually working a lot for financial gain. So that's probably the phrase we want to, I would have assumed would be more appropriate there.
Personally, I always look forward for my off and ensure that during my off, I won't think any work related, but within.
Okay, during my day off, you need to emphasize the day or time off, because I'm hearing during my off, which is incorrect.
The other days, I have to really ensure that my work flows smoothly. So it won't give me another stress about it.
It won't give me more stress. It's uncountable.
And this topic also makes me think about my friends who are working and still working with cruise ship industry, whereas they work at least 8 months without off.
Again, without time off, makes me think of my friends who work in the shipping industry. I think you said ship industry, which is slightly different.
I'm sure it's really straining from them.
I wouldn't have used straining. I'm sure it's really difficult or challenging for them.
Companies such as Royal Caribbean, they have this launch event, the back deck, where the employees can have or enjoy some peaceful time or even drink. They even have parties in there or after duties to have somehow.
Okay, so you started off talking about this event where they could invite their partners, and this was really good. Okay, and I would have just developed that a little bit more, because it's kind of like proving your point, but it seems like we've gone off on a slightly different angle. So they even have, which is a good phrase, okay, but I still didn't get fully this idea of inviting their partner. Okay?
A balance with life at work, peace in there or after duties.
Okay, the after duties. I think we should say once work is finished, they even have parties. Okay?
To have somehow a balance with life at work.
So again, the emphasis, and this is higher level stuff, Anna. Okay? You could hear there how was emphasized, and I don't really think that was the key point of the sentence.
Or even drink. They even have parties in there or after duties. To have somehow a balance with life at work.
Okay, so what we really wanted to say there was just to help them get a life balance. Okay? Maybe something happened with the microphone, or it might be that issue that I mentioned earlier, that an idea comes, the phrase comes, I'm going to emphasize it because I'm kind of relieved I've got it, maybe. Okay?
So that's my answer for the first question, sorry. The second question is, do you think people will have to work longer in the future? Well, nowadays, there's a shift of trend.
There is a certain trend that was unclear.
About work, such as blogging. I don't know if it's work, but I do know it generates money. So people are inclined to do this work line.
Okay, people are inclined to. That's a great phrase. Good. I wouldn't have said people are inclined to do this work line. That doesn't make sense. People are inclined to follow this trend, or people are inclined to give it a go, maybe. Okay, but remember, we're talking about people are working longer hours, and you're talking about blogging. So is that really on topic? Maybe not.
Whereas it's more time consuming than the traditional work. Whereas if they work or make a content, they have to plan it beforehand. So other than
okay, to make content, not to make a content. To make content, they have to plan it.
Shooting, they have planning and then brainstorming, which is really time consuming. So it would be, I see in the future that would be people will work longer. The third question.
Okay, so we didn't really answer that question. Yeah, about do you think people will work longer in the future? We didn't use the future tense either, really. Okay? So what you really want to do, Anna, is and say something like, first of all, just like that, the essays, yeah? Like, yeah, I do think people probably work longer in the future. This is because X, Y, Z. This is because people are becoming more competitive for their career, okay? You hear that, I emphasize some of the key words. And then once I've kind of like established it, I could give my example. For example, people in the blogging sphere, people who are doing this new kind of job called blogging, it takes lots of time. And if I guess more people might be doing this in the future, so that would definitely confirm the trend that people are going to be working more in the future. Something like that, yeah? But basically, you want to sort of like answer first, then say this is because, or something similar, give an example, and that's your answer, okay? Try and follow that structure for your next answers.
People will work longer. Nowadays, there's the technology really emerged to everyone's daily life.
Great phrase there.
So it's more logical, or it's really logical to
This part was good because we're developing it. So nowadays it's really logical. Great.
companies to emerge technology within the
That part didn't make any sense. Sorry if I sound harsh. But that part needs to be sort of like rephrased completely.
company. So I see in the future that would be a really shift or change
Okay, so we'd have to say, so I see in the future there will be a real shift.
that most of the employees should be proficient technologically,
Should be technologically proficient.
so they are able to do or perform better work. So that's my question.
Okay, good. So they are able to perform better work, more productive work. Good finish there. Yeah, and in that answer, we did answer the question. You know, we would have got a better score for task response.
My answer for the question. The last question was, training should be available to everyone to have an access for enrichment or development their skills, or even
Okay, to have engagement, no, to develop. Okay, and there's another grammar mistake.
for enrichment or development their skills, or even just to quench
to develop their skills. But it sounds, the question was, should education be regulated? You're saying, should education on the internet be regulated? Your answer is that everyone should be able to get their education, which is a different answer to the question.
their interest or curiosity. So having trainings available and accessible to everyone would be very ideal.
I wouldn't say very ideal. Okay, ideal is sort of like, it's enough. We don't need very ideal. It's redundant. But also, again, as I said, we're not. That wasn't the question. It's training for everyone. The question was, should it be regulated?
Or there are people who are unprivileged to have a proper training, so it makes them less privileged, or less unprivileged if they have done access for these trainings that can help them to generate more or even sustain their lives. Personally, it's good for me to have various of trainings available on the web. So for my work line, like sugar cooling or making chocolates. I'm sorry, I'm having a bad day right now. So what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm working as a patissier.
Okay, right, Anna. It's okay to do the self-correction, okay? But we're going way off topic now. It's just kind of like going further and further and further. And it wouldn't surprise me if the examiner would just interrupt you, you know, because they just want to get back to the actual question, or at least move on to the next one. All right? It seems you're working as a pâtissier. We'll find out in a second. But we're kind of going off topic. Also, when you're given examples, you want to make it, especially if you're going for a 7 or a higher. We don't really give examples about your personal life, you know. We want to be talking in abstract terms, you know, sort of like, so if the courses were regulated, then it might increase costs. I don't really know, to be honest, and it's just taking it, like the essays, we're taking it away from the personal and more formal. Okay, so I'm going to finish this feedback session. Okay, let me know if you're interested in private classes. It's usually around $60 an hour, and we sell them in packs of 10. But I think working together we could improve a lot faster. But let me know if you're interested. All the best, Anna.